It is time to show you guys the full power and potential of the Gaiomon deck, which can wipe out all of your opponent's security. Digimon fans, welcome back, and today we'll be showcasing a whole new way to play the Gaiomon deck. The all-new EX4 Gaiomon can single-handedly change the way of how you play the deck now, and purely focusing on Gaiomon only gives you an OTK potential that you can just take out your opponent's security out of nowhere with an insane combo alongside with the older BT9 Gaiomon as well. Like always, I'll be showing you guys how to play the deck and how it all works, so let's just jump right into the deck profile first. Okay, like always, let's begin with our Digi-Egg cards. 4 copies of the BT5 Koromon, and draw power is what we're trying to go for in this particular build. We want to see our pieces build towards our stack, and that's really what is there all about. So we'll talk about more about the other egg later on as well. Okay, now let's talk about our rookies. 4 copies of the promo Agumon of giving your turn extra 2000 DP. Really important because we just want to make sure that we can swing over security with lots of power and damage. Usually that's what we're trying to go for. If you guys don't have access to the promo Agumon, you guys can substitute with the starter deck Gaiomon Agumon instead. Pretty similar concept. Just to give yourself extra 2000 DP is again really what you're trying to go for, and yeah, definitely a 4 of. Then we got 3 copies of the BT12 Agumon, one of the best searchers currently, being able to on-play, searching top 4, adding ourselves 1 Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and a Tai Kamiya Tamer in its name, and then placing the rest at the bottom, and also providing a really nice inheritable of extra 1000 DP of all turns as well, and like I mentioned earlier, DP is definitely important. Oh, also one more thing, if you guys like the Darkness Force playmat that I dropped from last time, then also be sure to check this out.
Hey guys, first and foremost, we would really want to deeply thank you all for supporting the first ever release on the Avault channel, being the Darkness Force playmat. You guys were so amazing to the point that it was sold out in the first 24 hours, and we totally got blown away because of that. Don't worry guys, we got even more cool projects in the pipeline, and to celebrate the EX4 alternatives being set, me and my friends over at Team FD and Bantil will be collabing once again, and we'll be releasing the all-new Omega Berserk playmat. Again, this is going to be a limited run, so only 300 copies of these will be made, and each and every one of them, just like last time, will have a unique serial code to make it extra special. So be sure to grab your very own copy right now before they run out. Links and additional details will be left in the description box down below. And lastly, we really wouldn't be able to make all these amazing and cool projects without you guys. So deep down again, thank you guys so much for the continued support.
Talking about more searching, we also have the 1 copy of the BT8 Agumon. I particularly still really like this card as a 1-of, just because it can potentially hit you 2 targets, grabbing yourself a Dragonkin and a Greymon as well. All your level 6s are Dragonkins in their traits, and it's super important that you also find your Greymons alongside to really help you build your stack and find those pieces very quickly. And yeah, a 1-of is definitely what I still personally recommend. Then to sum up for all of our searching and our rookies in general, still 4 copies of Agumon X Antibody, still really great with his on-play when digivolving as well. Searching top 3, grabbing yourself a Greymon or Omnimon and X Antibody option, which we all play in this deck. And yeah, one of the best searchers for the entire archetype for sure. That's it for all of our level 3s. Let's talk about our level 4s. 4 copies of the starter deck Greymon Security +1. Really crucial now. You guys know that I love doing extra damage always, but now in this particular build, it's actually necessary. You want to see this as mostly like 90% of your time as you're building your stack, so that you can actually potentially help you pull off that OTK combo, and it becomes a really important piece. And for this particular build, I highly recommend you play 4 of, no less for sure. Next, we got 2 copies of the other Greymon from BT12 with the when digivolving letting you play a Tai Kamiya Tamer. It's just absolutely value and super free as well. With its inheritable stacking you extra DP is also super nice, and yeah, 2 of is just really all you need for here. Then moving into our X Antibody line of stuff, you definitely want to run 3 copies of Greymon X Antibody to give you the protection that you need. Digivolving your stack and cycling through more cards is just always really what you're trying to go for. And of course, at the same time, with the restricted down to one Greymon X from BT11, just super powerful card to help you reduce your cost when you're digivolving in the battle area. Also giving you a similar type of protection as long as you have the X Antibody option underneath as well. That's it for all of our level 4s. Let's talk about our level 5s. 4 copies of BT12 Metal Greymon. Essentially, this is really, really important because it can digivolve for 3 on top of like Greymon in its name. Having the raid is nice, and the all turns when targets switch, we get to play a black tamer that has 4 costs or less, or red as well, and then also giving piercing specifically to our Greymon archetype with its inheritable. It's going to be super crucial because we can swing over things and do massive checks. That's what we're really trying to go for. And also in conjunction with the synergy of the BT11 Greymon X, we can potentially even digivolve it for 1 when we do get that God stack. Is just absolutely amazing. So yeah, definitely a 4 copies, but mainly because we need the piercing. Then we also have 1 copy of Altruismo, just an extra layer of protection as well. Stacking multiple levels of the same is just really important, but also being able to pop something that's 5000 DP or less for when digivolving while you have a tamer in play is also really, really great. So then you can remove smaller things, and yeah, 0 cost as another Metal Greymon is what we're trying to look for. And then last but not least, for all the level 5s, definitely 3 copies of Metal Greymon X. Also super crucial and really important to the combo. I might even argue that you might want to play 4 copies of this one just because you want to see its when digivolving effect of gaining security +1 as much as possible. Digivolving for 0 on top of any Metal Greymon is what we're trying to look for. And when we can have X Antibody and Metal Greymon in our stack, gaining the extra 3000 DP definitely certainly does help. You guys can see that everything that we're trying to build up towards this point is about trying to build extra DP, extra security, and that's what we're trying to go for in order to fulfill the big one-shot combo there. That's it for level 5s. Now let's talk about our level 6s featuring the brand new Gaiomon from EX4. Really, really fantastic new alt art. Super cool different position mode with its arrow form, I guess per se. But digivolving for 4 does cost quite a bit, but it comes with a lot of really good effects. So first and foremost, this Digimon is also treated as having Greymon in its name, so very searchable, has a lot of synergy with the whole archetype, with the name and everything else. And then it has the when digivolving effect of deleting one of your opponent's Digimon that has 13 play cost or more. If you don't delete anything, you trash your opponent's top security stack card instead. Really, really crucial, really helpful with the combo as well, because at the end of your turn, if you have a tamer in play, this Digimon may digivolve into 1 card with Gaiomon in its name with a play cost that is 13 or more in your hand, ignoring its Digivolution requirements and without having to pay memory costs. This is really cool because it's almost like mode changing with your Gaiomon. You guys might be reading this effect and feel kind of confused on what its sort of usage really is, but don't worry, I'll show you guys how vital this guy really is and how it's super important to actually help you bridge off into your one-shot combos later on. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. So with the 3 new Gaiomons. Then of course, we play another 3 copies of the older Gaiomon. That's the Gaiomon is what you're trying to digivolve into with its effect. For 5 costs, you digivolve on top of like a black or red level 5, which is fine. Sometimes you have to do it. You digivolve for 2 on top of BlackWarGreymon specifically, but you will never get to digivolve for 2 because we actually don't play BlackWarGreymon in this particular build at the moment. Same as the other Gaiomon, this card Digimon is also treated having Greymon in its name to help you synergize for searching capabilities. And security +1 reboot, we know how powerful this card really is. When digivolving, digivolve 1 on your opponent's Digimon if you have a black source, and if you have a red source, you get to blitz as well. So yeah, really, really important again with this particular card. Really crucial for the final combos, which again, I'll show you guys later on. Then to sum up for all of our Digimon, you definitely want to be playing at least 2 copies of Blitz Omni, or even just at least a 1 of, because it helps you finish the game. It helps you unsuspend, and then you can swing for game with it, which is going to be super important as well. Its protection effect and its all turns is, sort of not really as important as you really need to use it, because like I mentioned, you're using this guy to finish off the game, to win. That's it for all of our Digimon. Let's talk about our tamers. 2 copies of Yuya, super crucial, memory tamer, letting us, gain extra DP as well, and potentially having option protection is what we're trying to look for. We're always going to be building a stack with multiples of the same levels as we're digivolving into our Greymons, which is why you definitely want to prioritize this one so that you can also become, option protected, so that you can swing in, not have to worry about too much overall with this particular guy. As the other memory tamer, we still want to be running tie. Initially, I was running more copies of this tie just because I want to fulfill more security +1 checks, having ties, and you can stack them multiple, which is also really, really great. So yeah, I'm just juggling between the ratios between the tie and Zuyas at the moment. So, play however many you guys want based on your own personal preference. Speaking of ties, we also still want to play at least 2 copies of the BT12 tie, just because you can help you, gain a memory whenever you're digivolving. Giving your Greymon blocker extra 1k is also super nice, but sometimes you don't really need that blocker per se, because you're not trying to play control style, you're trying to play aggro style, and that's what is really there for, to help you climb up your Digivolution stack combo way quicker. Same goes for the Cool Boys. We're playing 3 copies. You guys can juggle between 3 copies of Cool Boys or 2 based on the BT12 tie Kamiyas. Really, really flexible on the sort of tamer lineup, up to you guys. I just personally like 3 copies of Cool Boys just because of the searching consistency. Finding pieces is very important for Greymon in particular, and for the 2 cost is just absolutely value. We're always going to be digivolving into an X Antibody with the same level all the time, so we can gain a memory, draw a card, which I prefer way much more. And yeah, you guys know how strong and powerful this tamer still really is. That's it for tamers. Let's just round off for the options. 2 copies of X Antibody. You do need it every now and then so they can swing and digivolve if you really need to, but also giving like a protection with your Greymon X from BT11 is also very nice, but not super necessarily. That's why 2 copies is really all you need. And then last but not least, just to round off, of course, good old staples, red memory boost, just to search more. Again, finding pieces super crucial, important, and gaining extra memory for combos is what we're trying to go for. Just a really, really powerful, strong staple that we always want to like to see. That's it for our 50 card main deck. Now let's talk about some other cards that you guys can sort of be adding in and sort of changing the ratios, and just to make the build a little bit different based on your personal taste and playstyle. Of course, let's talk about the Koromon right here from BT9. Extra 1000 DP is still really nice. You might sometimes just need to swing over massive stuff, and you just really need to. Having that DP prioritized over draw power is really just coming down on what you personally prefer. So yeah, definitely still a good suggestion there. If you guys want more defense, if you're not trying to play the whole aggressive play style and OTK style, and you do want a bit of control or having blocker, this BlackWarGreymon from BT8 is still decently to be added. So yeah, change your ratios as you will. And as we're talking about more controls, we're going to have a lot of control cards as we're talking about. BlackWarGreymon here and BlackWarGreymon X, both is just like really good for like de-digivolving, popping stuff, giving yourself protection with BlackWarGreymon X Antibody from BT11 is actually kind of crucial as well, because you can't be de-digivolved and you can't have DP minus reduction as well. Is actually nice, and with its hurdle being able to trash cards, so this is sort of like the control package if you really want to go for that style, because at the end of the day, Gaiomon is a BlackWarGreymon deck after all, so that's why we're going to be talking about BlackWarGreymon and BlackWarGreymon X Antibody as well. And one of tech of each is kind of nice, if you ever want to go for that, just to again control the board a little bit more, have some decent matchups against other different types of decks, just because sometimes you might be facing some decks that are just very difficult for you to go for that OTK, and therefore having these guys is definitely nice. But again, I just want to go consistency with my OTK style, therefore I have not placed any of these in the current build. And then we also have Gaiomon X Antibody. I always really say I really like this card. I would actually try to add it in if I have spots, but really you don't really need to, because you just swing for so many checks anyways. There's no need to like bottom deck your opponent's Digimon and trash their security at the same time. It's just a win harder card, which you don't really necessarily always need for this particular build as well. So yeah, that's why I didn't include it right here, but you guys can definitely do so if you want to as well. Last but not least, there's no Hades Force in this deck, and of course I would suggest you guys can add a Hades Force just because you want a little bit of defense if you ever need to. Security Bomb is great. Wiping the opponent's board is also great if you can. And the only reason why I don't play this again is because I'm focusing very clearly on one single game plan. Build my stack, find my pieces as quickly as possible, and pull off the OTK, which has worked out very nicely for me. And consistency is just super important for me in this particular build more than anything else. Therefore, I don't play it at the moment. Alright, that's it for all the cards that I want to show you guys. Now let's jump into the OTK combo, and let's just start off the main, full power combo that you're really trying to go into, and the how to play general strategy guide with this deck. Of course, you want to hatch your egg, so of course, play your searchers with your Agumons right here. You know, this one, if you do see it, these ones are the ones that you always want to be hard playing, as well as this one. Digivolving it on top to search even more is just absolutely, you know, value right there. You want to be playing your red memory boost as well, and of course your cool boys and even your ties as much as you can, and of course some of your tamers, whichever you have. You know, the more you rack up, the better it is for you. So that's really what you're trying to go for in the early stages of the game. And then let's talk about building your stack. Ideally, you want to be digivolving into this Agumon. If you have multiple Agumon X antibodies, then you can, you know, sort of juggle between whether you should be hard playing one to search for more pieces, or you can just digivolve it in the back, so for its potential protection source that you would need to, and cycle one more card and whatnot. So sometimes you don't always get the luxury, so you might have to skip it, but let's just say optimally you do get to do this. Next, you're going to be digivolving into your Greymon right here as well, and then into your Greymon X, and then of course eventually you're going to be digivolving into Metal Greymon here. Most likely, you might be sitting at the back right here just waiting to go, essentially. Sometimes you might need to do an early game combo and push it out and use your Metal Greymon to raid into something, and then you can do the whole classic combo with X Antibody if you have it, where you can slide one underneath it right here, and then you can raid into something to help you play some of these tamers for free for even more value. And once you're sort of attacking with X Antibody, you can digivolve it into the Metal Greymon X to do a bunch of checks right here. Essentially, you know, it's gonna have +1 right here, +2, and +3 with tie. So you essentially do a very good early game 4 checks right there on your opponent. Or if you had Yuya, you can even suspend these guys to basically help you, you know, gain that memory back, and also giving you the option protection with Yuya is always super nice. But with that being said, the whole main combo is really about OTK. So once you do push out your Metal Greymon, before you do that, you want to be making sure that you want to be seeing these pieces cards in your hand. Mostly going to be both your Gaimons, your Metal Greymon X, and also potentially your Omnimon for the game finisher. So what you're going to be looking at is you're going to start your turn with 3 memory right here. Very, very flexible, so you have a lot of things to work with. You know, you're most likely going to have like a red memory boost or some form of different kinds of combinations of tamers to give you even more value. So right here, right off the bat, we're actually just going to digivolve into Metal Greymon X immediately. So let's just suspend the tie and the cool boy just to gain like 1 memory each, and then we get to draw a card, suspending the Yuya as well for extra 2k, and with the option protection just beforehand. Now, what you want to be doing next is you want to be digivolving into your EX4 Gaiomon, particularly for the 4 cost right here. Now, sometimes you may not have the luxury where, you know, you have a lot of memory to work with, so you might be passing your opponent's memory across to 1 instead. This is where the vital part comes in. You know, it's very straightforward if it's still retaining to your turn, but you actually often enough might want to pass your memory to your opponent's side first, so you can utilize its end of turn effect. But first and foremost, use its 1 digivolving effect to pop something that's 13 play cost or higher. Usually your opponent might not have something like that. A lot of level 6s are actually play cost 12 only, so that means you can actually pop a security instead, trashing their security right here, and then this is when you use the end of turn effect. Your opponent's going to be down at security right here, so then you can end of turn and digivolve into this Gaiomon for free. Now, why is this super important? Because if you use the end of turn, you can now then suspend these tamers to gain the memory back to either 0 or 1, so you retain your turn right here with a unsuspended Gaiomon. Of course, suspend your Yuya while you can as well. So the very important vital thing I'm trying to tell you guys is don't suspend these tamers while you're climbing up your stack when you're outside. Save these tamers for the end of turn when you go into Gaiomon instead. This is going to be super crucial, because then now your Gaiomon can swing for tons of checks right here. You have security +1, 2 with Metal Greymon X, 3 with Greymon, and potentially 4 with tie right here. You may not even need to chip your opponent's security at all in the beginning of the game. You may not even need to have to trash with Gaiomon from EX4, because this is essentially going to be 5 checks right here with at least 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 KDP, and 21 with tie if you give it the extra 1,000 as well. So all checks, option protection right here, and you have multiple sources of protection additionally with your Greymon X Antibody right there. You check all your opponent's security, and then you just simply finish the game with Omnimon Blitz right here to unsuspend and win. Or you can have your rookies, you can just save it right here and then use it not to chip away, but use it to finish the game instead. And this is actually kind of a different strategy, because then you guys can realize it's actually really important not to actually chip with your rookies in the early stages of the game. If your opponent doesn't have any removal against it, just let it sit there, let it do its thing, because often enough, your rookie instead of your Blitz Omni can actually be your game finisher right there. So super simple OTK combo right here essentially, and this is why you want to be going into this particular new Gaiomon and focusing it more in this particular way, and that's how I want to play it, so that I can always consistently pull this specific combo off and our opponents just has no way to react whatsoever. That'll wrap up for the deck profile for today. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. Once again, be sure to get your very own copy of the all-new Omega Berserk playmat right away, as they're running out very quickly. Links will be left in the top right iCard and in the description box down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video. This is Avault, signing out.